Welcome and to a Course of Love book reading written by Perron, first receiver. Let me show you the cover. So this is an ongoing book reading, and you can find all the prior recordings of all the previous chapters read under A Course of Love on YouTube at kimberly.com. And so tonight we are page 464. We're in chapter 9. Awareness that does not come from thought. Awareness that does not come from thought. The door that is being opened to you here is the door of awareness of what is, a door that swings open and closed on the hinges of your thoughts. Thoughts are a greater boundary than the dot of your body, and a greater means of imprisonment than bars and walls. They are why you do not see what is, and are the reason that you continue to desire to be provided with set answers. The final thought reversal that was spoken of in the section on acceptance is what is spoken of here. There you were asked to become aware of what imprisons you, only to have it later suggested that what you think imprisons you may not be what imprisons you at all. That you think is what imprisons you. You continue to think that your desire to know who you are calls you to think about who you are, and in that thinking, to come up with a definition of who you are, a truth of who you are, a certainty about who you are. You have been led to see that this desire has always been with you, and you have thought it is the very desire that, once defined and acted upon, would fulfill you, allow you to be who you truly are, end your confusion, and give you peace to usher in the new. But you have thought about this desire to know who you are in one way or another all your life without reaching the place of fulfillment you have sought. Even now, when you have learned all that you are in need of learning, the pattern, even of your wholeheartedness, remains one of thought. This pattern is what the new patterns of acceptance and discovery that we are beginning to lay out here are going to replace. Thought is a practice and a pattern of the separated and thus learning self. When it was said within this course that you are an idea of God, and when ideas were spoken of as if they were synonyms with thought, this was an accurate and truthful way of expressing what was true for you as a learning being. But your reality has changed. And with that change, new patterns apply. This does not mean that the truth has changed, but that you have changed. And with your change, the truth, while it remains the truth, can now be presented in a way that speaks to who you are now, rather than who you were when you began a course of love. As we continue, you may feel as if contradictory things are being said, such as being called to consider what imprisons you, and then being called to reconsider. The call is still the same, but the means by which you are considering the call has changed. Thus, there's no contradiction, although there may at times seem to be. This may seem as well to be inconsistent with the teaching of a treatise on the art of thought. If thought is what imprisons you, why would the art of thought be taught? You must continually remember your newness and the different aim toward which we now work. The aims we clearly embraced together when you were still a learning being were meant to allow you to come to know your true identity. A treatise on the art of thought was but a forerunner to what we now will embrace together. It was a means and an end. The same is true of the beliefs set forth in a treatise on the nature of unity and its recognition. What was taught in order to aid your recognition will clearly be different from what is revealed once that recognition has been brought about. Just as the art of thought led to abilities beyond the thinking of the ego mind, the beliefs of the treatise on unity were meant to lead beyond the need for beliefs, and the treatise on the personal self meant to lead beyond the personal self. Thus, the treaties were not inconsistent with our aims here. Learning always has as its goal leading the learner beyond learning. With the treatise on the new, we established what lies beyond learning. Now, as we embrace the new together, it must be realized again and yet again that the new cannot be learned. In other words, it must be realized that you cannot come to know the new or to create the new through the means of the old, including the means of thought. We thus return to discovery and continue to expand the territory of your conscious awareness. We do this by discussing now the nature of ideas as opposed to the nature of thoughts. Like the natural abilities you discovered existed within you prior to the time of learning. Ideas are also discoveries that you make. Discoveries that exist apart from learning. Ideas come to you. They are given and received. They are surprising and pleasing in nature. You may think that they are the result of learning, of thoughts you have contemplated and struggled with. You may think that all your previous learning and thinking merely resulted eventually in a new idea being birthed. But this is not the case. Heredity can be cited as a cause for talent. But what is heredity? But that which already exists within you. So too is it with an idea. An idea already exists within you, but is awaiting its birth through you. This is how you must now come to see your form. It is that through which what already exists what is already accomplished comes or passes through by means of the expression of your form and the interaction of your form with all you are in relationship with. If we return to the image of the body as the dot in the wider circle and accept that your discovery of your natural talent or ability and your discovery of new ideas are discoveries of something that already existed beyond the dot of the body. And if you accept that these ideas that already exist were able to pass through you in order to gain expression in form, then you are beginning to see on a small scale the action that on a large scale will become the new way. So we let that settle in for a moment. Just a moment, just allow everything to just really settle in before I move on to the next chapter. These are kind of short chapters, so I'll move on. I'm feeling to move on. But first, let us pause. Lucy N. FaceTime video. I will share something now with you. What I was concerning chapter 9, what we just read. I was just shown it's that it's as if We are the discoverers of a new land. I saw like a ship, and like captains looking at the in the new horizon. Um, so it's like we're discovering, making new discoveries of the new, which is way more fun than learning. Just saying. Okay, so let us move along. This page doesn't have a page number, but if it did, it would be 467. It's chapter 10, the goal and the accomplishment of the elevated self of form. What is found outside of the boundary of the personal self in the wider circle of unity is timeless. What comes to you in the form of natural abilities or talents, as ideas, as imagination, as inspiration, instinct, intuition, as vision, or as calling, are ways of knowing that come to you and through you outside of the pattern of learning. Oh, what just happened? See, that's a discovery. Learning is about the transfer of knowledge that was gained in the time of learning through the process of learning. Notice the inability of teaching or learning to call forth talents, ideas, imagination, inspiration, instinct, intuition, vision, or calling. You may believe that teaching and learning appropriately work with and enable the use of abilities such as these. But you also know that these means are limited in what they can do and that they can hinder as well as enhance the creative expression of these gifts. You think that the use you put these givens to, what you do with them, how you express them in the world, is your unique and individual accomplishment. Such it is. But when you also think that it is your hard work and diligence, your effort and struggle that bring the expression of these givens forward, you think in error and limit your expression in much the same ways that the effort of teaching and learning limits them. It is your joyous acceptance of the already accomplished state of these givens that allows expression of what is given to truly come through you and express the self, capital S, because joyous expression expresses the self of unity rather than the self of separation. The self of elevated form rather than the personal self. Now you might be thinking here that while these givens come from the realm of unity, your expression of these givens, since that expression exists in the realm of time and space and involves the work and time of your form in your form's separate reality, is not of you but of the individual self. You may feel that to think of this in any other way will leave you with no individual personal accomplishment, nothing to be proud of, nothing to call your own. You thus must begin to realize that the bringing forth of the accomplishment that already exists in unity is your new work, the work of the self in union, of union, the work that can fill you with the true joy of true accomplishment because it is your real work. Work with what is. Working with what is in unity is not work but relationship. You are called to realize your relationship with what is given from unity. It is in that relationship, the relationship between what is and the expression of what is by the elevated self of form, that the new is created. What is becomes new by becoming shareable in form, or in other words, what is continues to become through the continuation of relationship and the creation of new relationships. In this way, sharing in relationship becomes the goal and the accomplishment of the elevated self of form. The means through which the self of union is known, even in the realm of separation, and thus what draws others from separation to union. The goal and relationship of the elevated self of form is thus timeless, for it draws from the realm of unity and returns to the realm of unity. This is an expression of the biblical injunction to go forth and multiply. It is about increase. To be content with personal or individual understanding or experience of what is given is to not complete the cycle of giving and receiving as one. That's very important. I will read that part again. To be content with personal or individual understanding or experience of what is given is to not complete the cycle of giving and receiving as one. What is given must be received. What is received must be given. This is the way of increase and multiplication. This is the way of creation. In this time of Christ, discovery is about acceptance of your true way of knowing, a way that existed prior to the time of learning, and that has always existed when put into practice and allowed to replace the pattern of learning. This way of discovery will be a constant coming to know of what is, as well as constant expansion of what is, or a constant expansion of creation. Creation, in short, of the new. Ends chapter 2. So again, let us allow this to really settle into us. So what I'm shown again, I will share again, is I'm shown the earth, but the sun shining upon it, and the waters of the earth reflecting the sun back to itself. This kind of giving and receiving, which in the feeling realm is also possible. Whatever feeling you allow to rise within yourself, choose any feeling you like, or any feeling that comes from the reading tonight. Like you may have a feeling of excitement about discoveries, or the intuitions, or the, all the listed things that are part of the new way. And so, however you're feeling from this, from receiving this tonight, you may be excited, for example. So allow that excitement to really fill you, and allow it more and more and more. Let it fill you head to toes and skin to bone, full of excitement or any feeling that you choose. Head to toes and skin to bone. And now be like that sun and radiate that feeling out by just allowing. So you need to do nothing. Just allow. Give it more. And allow it more and more. And you will find that the more you allow it to escape you, to beam from you in a feeling way, the more you feel it. So this is giving and receiving as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you to everyone who watched the videos and received. And may the blessings be. Thank you. Good night.